One Star Rewind.
All right, everybody, welcome back to One Star Rewind. I am your host, Cory, and today we have the amazing Bryan Fonville on today. Bryan, thank you for hopping on the podcast with us. You work for Central National Bank, your leading independent bank, to throw that in there. And so you're going to come on here and talk about a one-star review from Central National. But before we do that, please tell the audience, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about Bryan, and then tell us a little bit about Central National Bank.
Sure. So for those who are listening, Cory and I, actually, we go way back. Mm-hmm. We go back to our Baylor days.
Baylor days, geez, so long ago.
Back around 2009. I work at Central National Bank. I graduated in 2009, and I actually ended up there as the result of a summer internship that I had one summer between my junior and senior year. I never would have thought that I would wanted to work at a bank.
Interesting. And, wait, what was the internship?
Well, that's a great question. It was it
was one of those internships.
Yeah, it was like, who does he know?
Sure.
How did he get this job?
Yeah.
I was a special projects intern.
Okay.
And I did help
That's cool.
with some marketing related things. The bank always does like a customer appreciation day.
Yeah.
In July, and so the timing of that worked out perfectly, and
Cool.
so they kind of let me run that event, and I stayed in touch that next year with the CEO of the bank, Bill Nesbitt.
Okay.
And when it came time to graduate, I don't know if anyone remembers what was happening in 2009, but the economy was not
great.
Housing crisis.
Yeah, not wonderful.
Yeah, so I kind of had this job there if I wanted it, and I was like, yeah, that sounds
cool. Did you want to stay in Waco? Was that a thing?
Not so.
It was just about the job.
Well, I will say this: being in Waco that previous summer, like I feel like that really exposed me to a different side of Waco that I really didn't interact with before, because when you're at Baylor, and I don't know if it's still this way, but I mostly stayed in the bubble.
Yeah.
And so like when I'm having to drive out to Woodway every day during the summer for my job, and like, getting to know people that are not, tied into Baylor, so to speak, my coworkers, I saw Waco in a different light.
Sure.
And so, it worked out.
I remember, so my senior year, I worked at KWTX in the evening. So I did like the camera. I was like the camera guy on the floor, and then I edited all the clips and the packages for the news. But it was senior at Baylor, but then you drive. Not that the station is the corner of 84 and Highway 6, so it's not like you're going deep into Waco. But all the people there, they all like are Wacoans, right?
Yep.
There's no students working. Now they may have been past Baylor students, but you're just like in Waco. And it was the first time, because all my jobs had been like on campus jobs at Baylor. So I remember that being like, this is a weird transition into like what normal life could look like.
Yeah.
But I could see that being funky. Like you're driving to Woodway every day for work, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know you did that. Now like the cameras are robotically operated.
Yes.
You wouldn't have a job.
I wouldn't have a job. I went back and toured. Rusty Garrett, the greatest weatherman ever. But the GOAT. So we've always stayed in touch. So I went back there and said hi. This was probably a year and a half, or right before COVID. And he was like, "I'm gonna blow your mind." So I go on the floor, and you're right. It was all just robot moving, all this stuff. I was like, "Geez, I don't have." Dan Ingham was the sports broadcaster back then, and he had a lot of grace for me, but it was always the sports shot was the hardest one, because you had to have the camera and you had to do this angle while it was moving, and then you had to stop perfectly on him, and he's a pretty big guy, so you couldn't get too close to him, or it was like all the Dan coming at you. And so he always had a lot of grace. But I remember before the show, he was like, "Cory, you're going to practice this right now." Like, so I was like, geez, now these robots do this. So It is wild. You're right. I would not have a job.
Yeah. Well, and Dan's a great guy. So you were paired up with a good one.
I was. He's a good dude. All that staff. I mean, Gordon and Julie and Rusty. I mean, all that. That was always very fond memories.
Dan works for a bank now,
He
right?
does.
Yeah. Okay.
He's like, is he competition now, or is that?
Friendly competition.
Friendly competition?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard not to like Dan.
It's very tough not to like Dan. I like a good competition within banks. I think that's a good rivalry to have with all the different
it is
institutions.
And we were kind of talking about this before we came on, but there are so many banks in this town.
Yeah.
And we all, for some reason, choose to have like the same keywords in our names, like Central and National, and obviously Bank.
Yeah.
And we also all have blue and white as our colors.
That's true.
So it's just
when green is like, isn't that kind of known as the color of money? Green, but blue is
blue is according to whatever I Googled a couple years ago, is like the color of trust.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
So you see like blue a lot in healthcare and anything that involves finance.
So why do you think so Bank of America and like Wells Fargo go with this red? And I always think red is like aggressive, right? Like not very welcoming. Maybe that's a problem
I don't know, man.
They have.
I mean, the B of A thing makes sense because of America, but
that's true.
The Wells Fargo, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, okay, I didn't even plan this transition, but so now, so you told us a little bit about you, Bryan, and we could have a Bryan podcast for 2 hours if we just want to talk about you, but we're here to talk about the review. So, but first, tell us about Central National. I mean, if you were, well, I guess you did this with me when I switched over to CNB, but like, if you had to sell me on, hey, come to Central National and this is why. I mean, what is like something that makes CNB stand out versus other banks?
We're a locally owned bank. We have been around since 1977. We've had the same ownership since 1986. So, incredibly stable. We're owned by 8 families, all of whom live in Central Texas.
That's cool.
And we kind of see ourselves as a relationship bank. You're not going to find a Central National Bank on every corner of America. We're only here in Central Texas. And, part of that relationship aspect is, you're also not going to see like a bunch of billboards for Central National Bank.
Sure.
We grow through relationships. Most of our new customers come through referrals and because somebody has formed a relationship with an employee at the bank.
Yeah.
And so our marketing tries to kind of, it tends to be more relationship experience driven. We do a big Christmas event every year with Santa Claus that a lot of people come to. And so, that's what we're about. We're a relationship bank.
Sure.
And we've had a lot of success being a part of this Waco community, and in part because of the Waco community.
Sure. No, I think that's awesome. I think you're spot on. I've probably seen, and not just, well, it's probably because I recognize them, but there's so many CNB employees over the time I've been there. Like I've just seen them walking their kid or their dog, or you running, or other people. You just say hi, and like there's one of the account. I don't know what you would call Sarah Blocker, what her position is, but we work so much with her, and like she'll like text me something at like 7:00 at night. I'm like, she's not even at work anymore. And she's like, hey, don't forget this document tomorrow. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Like, you don't get that. And again, now this is turning into like the love fest here, and then we'll get to the review. But there was a time where we were locked out of the account or something. It was a Sunday. And I called you or texted you or something, and you like unlocked the account. Like you did something on a Sunday. And I just remember thinking, this is incredible. Like, and you go above and beyond. And I know you personally, so I always, I know you beyond the bank too, but I think you do that for anybody. And I think that was like, okay, this is clearly where I don't ever want to leave this bank because of these reasons. So,
well, appreciate you saying that, Cory. Thank you.
No problem. So now let's get to a 1-star.
Get to someone who doesn't love us.
Let's get to someone that doesn't love you. Okay. All right, Bryan, we are now going to rewind back in time. Okay. This review came from Quinn Phillips. We're throwing your name out there, Quinn. Don't everybody hate on Quinn. Are you looking at the picture?
Yeah, he's got some styling shades and a cap on here.
Totally styling. I thought that was like a wig, or I don't know what's going on, but yeah, he's rocking here.
How do you get the designation as a local guide?
Well, yeah, I was about to lead into that.
Okay.
Yeah, so the local guide, so he has left 77 reviews. So he has reviewed enough to be considered a quote unquote local guide. So he's put the work in here to tell.
Is that a quantity thing? Like if you hit a threshold, you become a guide?
That's a quantity thing.
Okay.
And it's either 10 or 15. It's somewhere in that range. You got to be in the double digits. If you leave like 3 reviews, you don't become a local guide. So, but he's also done these locally too. So if you leave 50 reviews, one in every different state, you don't become a local guide. So he has focused on and I don't know the area range per se. It could be a miles thing or just town or zip code or something. But so yeah, he cares, man. This guy goes. All right, so it was left. We'll preference this now. 4 years ago was when this review. So a lot in the world has changed in 4 years. Central National has grown and changed. You have been there this whole time, though. So you're one of the constants.
Yes, and I can't. Yeah, that means I'm partly responsible.
You might be responsible. Okay, well, let's just get into it. So we're going to read the review, and then we'll kind of go section by section. Usually we go line by line, but this is like one good sentence. So, but there's good pieces in here.
Yeah, this guy's succinct.
He's a total. Yeah. Quinn knows what he's doing. Okay. He starts it off with a bang. He says, worst bank if you travel a lot. Not very many locations, and like most banks, it's hard to catch them while they are open! ! So first off, let's check grammar here, Bryan. He has his commas in the right spot. He has his exclamation point. Nothing looks misspelled to me. Are you seeing the same thing, or is there?
Well, I mean,
is he missing an apostrophe?
In the essence of brevity, you do have like the letter U instead of YOU.
Oh, that's true. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to note. I genuinely like to see their grammar, because it's like if you're in the heat of the moment and you're just like, oh my gosh, and you're just typing real quick, a lot of times it comes out kind of like you can't respect this person because they misspelled 7 things.
Yes.
But you're right. That is the U instead of YOU. That's fascinating. I don't know anything more beyond that, but it's fascinating. Okay, so first off, he wants everyone to know this is the worst bank. He starts with it, worst bank. If you travel a lot. So, and let's put in not many locations. That's kind of together. So what's your take on worst bank if you travel a lot, not very many locations? Do you take that as a positive, as a negative? Where do you think that lands for you?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because for a while we had and we still kind of do to some degree. I've read, I think it's Jack Trout or somebody has like a book on attacking your competition at their biggest strength.
Okay. So
Bank of America or Wells Fargo, which locally we don't necessarily consider them, our biggest competition.
Sure.
But, their biggest asset is they do have a location on every corner.
Sure.
Across America. And because of that, they can't know their customers like we can.
Yeah.
And so, when I kind of reflect, we don't have, that's part of being a community bank is we're not going to have a location on every corner. But I think this even maybe goes into the 4 years ago and the world changing. I would contend now that probably was a reality back then.
Yeah.
Things you would want to have a physical bank nearby for. Mm-hmm. One, ATM network, right?
Sure.
Like if you constantly need to go to the ATM to get cash, that's
cash
one
out.
thing. If you have cash, you have to deposit.
That's true.
Or if you just feel like you need the safety blanket of I need a physical place that I can go if
to go talk
something
to somebody
happens.
Sure.
So, I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
And I do think in the aftermath of this, I don't know if it's necessarily because of this and reading this review or just over time, we've made steps to address some of those things and to make it, because we have customers who live all across the country who, they maybe lived in Waco at one point in time, moved away and saw the value in keeping their relationship with a local bank in Waco that they know.
So they just keep banking. I mean, like you said, you can just deposit checks with a snap of your phone, with a picture. You can still do these things, and so much online banking is there is a bank, and I won't say the name, but if you go Waco Drive and you go down, and there's this big old billboard on the right.
I saw it on my way here.
Oh, you did?
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
One of the and please don't kill me if this
you can say the name.
It's Community Bank, and don't kill me if you have this slogan. But I get a kick out of when they say and now a mobile banking app, and it's like. Doesn't everybody have that? Like, if you didn't have a mobile banking app, are you even a bank right now? So, and maybe they're trying to tell their 70-year-old demographic, like, hey, you can download this app on your phone. But I'm like, I just look at that like if McDonald's says, and we have really good fries. It's like, well, everybody knows you have fries. Why are you leading with that? So every time I see that, I'm like, come on, guys. I don't know why that's a noteworthy thing on a billboard. But maybe you can say I'm wrong, Bryan. I don't get it.
Okay. Well, I don't
know.
I do think there's a constant, like in banking, reminding people of the services that are available to them.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, maybe that's, and also too, like just as far as the trends go, like I think more and more banks have realized, I mentioned Bank of America and Wells Fargo, like they have closed locations over the last couple of years just because more and more people do things electronically. And so some banks have shifted their resources into like treating their website, their online banking, their mobile banking as like another banking center,
or
another branch.
That makes sense. Oh, I see that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you would have to. If
and you're saying that should be a requirement.
If Central National, and again, I love you, I love everybody I work with there. If there was no banking app, I probably wouldn't.
Right.
It would be so hard to use Central National if there was no app. So
and you're saying as a consumer, like that's not even like in your mind because you just expect that.
Totally. I expect it. And again, I'm not like a billboard guru, but I think I would put something on there that's like, I don't know, we offer 1.73% home loans, or I don't know, something where I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go hit them up. Like, but I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to Community Bank because they have a mobile app. Yeah. I don't know. Not like I'm dogging them. That's a great billboard. They had Scott Drew up there for a while. Congratulate, for the championship.
For sure.
So I respect it.
I think that when I drove, and maybe they've changed the messaging, but when I drove down here today, it said,
what did it say?
It said, our nearest location is wherever you are, or something like that. Oh. And so it was more tying it together that hey, you don't have to come to the bank. You can do it.
You can do it on your.
You can do just about everything
sure,
on your phone.
So. On your mobile app.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say this about a location because we used to have an escape room in San Marcos, Texas, in a little south of Austin, and you have in Austin, Texas.
We do.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were going to say you did. No, it's still there.
We do.
Okay. So I have been in there a handful of times, not as many as here, but
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I would go in there because we would have cash from the escape room. Yeah. So on my way back to Waco, it was just super easy to peel on in. It was never super busy there, but it's fine. And so I would go in and the employees were always really nice and we would talk about you. Because I'd be like, because I was like, I knew they would know you. So I was like, oh yeah, Bryan Fonville. Like, oh yeah, Bryan, we love that guy. Like whatever. And they were always really nice to me there. But it was like convenient because it was, oh, it's on my way home and I'll deposit cash. But I get there's not, that was probably a unique situation. There's not locations everywhere. But I will just say as a tip of the cap.
Oh well, good.
That worked out for me.
Yeah, it's right on 6th Street.
Yeah.
So did you stay a little bit longer and peruse 6th Street while you were there?
Did I? No, I definitely didn't do that. I might have gotten lunch somewhere or something. But I didn't peruse.
I've worked a couple times down there. Like I'd have to go down and I just work at the bank and then come back. And like Whole Foods is right across the street.
Oh geez,
and being able to walk over there for lunch. Yeah, that's the one thing. I office at our Highway 84 location. Yeah, and like I did office at the Bosque location for a while. And like being able to walk somewhere for lunch was kind of
super nice.
Nice.
Yeah, you're like what, like slow rise? Is that the closest? If you were to walk somewhere?
Yes, and I'm not willing to do that. But I've heard they're gonna put a Union Hall.
They are.
Right. Like there's a funeral home between us and where I think the Union Hall is gonna
go. Yeah.
That'll be good. That will be awesome.
So they can get some food there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Travel a lot. I think last thing that I want to say about this, and then we'll do the next line, is being that relational bank, like you were saying, and that's what CNB is. You have to be local to be really relational, right? Like Bank of America, it's so many, you just walk in and do your thing and leave. Mm-hmm. So if you had 50 locations, it would be really awkward to have all 50 in Central Texas. You wouldn't need that many in one little concentrated area.
Yeah.
So it's like part of the mission. It's not many locations. Well, yeah, because we service a very specific area and we're local. And so it's like he's saying this is a negative. Quinn is saying this is a negative. But the reason why it's a negative for him is what makes the bank a positive, because it's like very concentrated in one area, which is great, which is why I'm there.
Yeah, we know our local community, or at least we try to. And
yeah,
the other thing I'll add too is since this review was written, we now offer any Central National Bank debit card holder, they get 4 free ATMs withdrawals each month, regardless of, there's some banks that join like and I'm not an expert on how it all works, but like you can join like a debit card network.
Oh, if I go to like another ATM.
Right. So
okay,
we have not gone that route. We just say whatever ATM you pick.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to check your phone to see like, is this the one that I can use, or where's the nearest one I can. If you see an ATM and it takes Visa, you can use that ATM, and that whatever that fee is will be refunded to your account.
Oh,
and you
very
get
cool.
4 of those. So if you travel a lot, when I read that, worst bank if you travel a lot, and without knowing exactly what he's referring to, like that in my mind would be something. If I was constantly traveling and needed to get cash and having to pay ATM fees because my bank is back in Waco.
Sure. That's probably, that could be what he's referencing.
Yeah.
Because really, if you're traveling a lot, and I kind of just read over that real quick. If you're traveling a lot, it's Chase, it's B of A, it's Wells. Like you gotta, I don't know who else you could bank with if you're Extraco or if you're TFNB or these other banks, kind of local, regional. If you travel a lot, you're having the same problems. If I'm going back to Portland,
right,
there's not
any
of those banks there.
Bank of America may have an ATM at DFW Airport.
Sure,
but
I like the waiving the fee. That's good. I didn't know that.
Well, now
that's a good plug there. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. The final part. So, and like most banks, it's hard to catch them while they are open! Exclamation point. Something I learned, and I probably should have realized this earlier in my adult life, but that Fridays you always stay open later. Like because is it because it's going into the weekend and you're trying to give people more time to get there before you're closed on Saturday and Sunday? Is that how that works?
I've never really done a deep dive into why banks are, I
Sure.
think if I had to guess, it probably has something to do with like Friday was a common payday, and and people used to have, paper checks.
Yeah.
And so maybe it was just to build in enough time.
Oh, okay.
I really don't know, but
after work they could get there and do that.
Yeah, to deposit their paycheck.
That makes sense. Because really it's reverse thinking for a lot of society or American life. Is Fridays you're like, people are getting out at 4:55, right? They're like, they want to go start their weekend. But I like the bank, and CNB specific, and there are other banks do this, but you're like, no, we're actually going to keep our people here later for you because you want to start your weekend early.
Yeah.
So I like that.
And then we're open 9 to 12 on Saturday morning as well. So
so you're even open on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, obviously not everybody's there.
Sure.
But yes, the bank is
open. The bank is open. Okay, so I keep doing these praises. So he said this is a negative. It's hard to catch them while they're open. Is there validity to this, or is Quinn just upset?
I mean, it is in the sense of like, if you want to do banking when it's convenient for you, then yes. But I would say on this too, in the time since this review has been written, it's kind of convenient to have these answers prepared.
Oh, I know. It's like, it's like we knew.
But we kind of rolled out, when did we do that? Maybe 2 years ago, what we call after hours service.
Okay.
So like in our mobile app, on our website, if you need, yes, the bank is not open, but we have somebody on call every day until 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
So if your debit card stops working, or you can't get logged into your online banking because you can't reset the password or whatever it is, we have somebody that you can reach out to. And we've got the phone number. You can text them.
Sure.
So we have a lot of customers who text back and forth.
Yes.
And it's worked out really well. And, it makes the bank more accessible because, I think more and more consumers expect to be able to do things on their own time whenever it's convenient for them. And to be able to offer that without like overburdening our employees to be on site all the time has been a really nice addition for us.
So I think that's good. Okay, so this is my hunch for Quinn.
Okay.
Is Quinn talking about holidays? Is he talking about like the bank holidays? And isn't that a thing? Like there's holidays and there's bank holidays because there's more of
for sure
them. So maybe that's what he's saying. It's hard to catch them while they're open, meaning like, oh my gosh, now it's National Drink Water Day and they're closed, or something like that. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. We don't. Just to clarify, we do get a lot of days off, but we don't get Drink Water Day off.
Okay, no drink.
It would be interesting to know what day he wrote this, like you could then go look at the calendar, but we just had Martin Luther King Day, and we've got a really good one, President's Day, coming up in February.
That's a good one.
And
is there one in March? St. Patrick's Day? Do you get that off?
No,
or that's not okay.
I mean, there's a period of the calendar where there's a big gap, and I think it's between President's Day and July 4th. And then once you get past July 4th, it gets pretty good because then you've got Labor Day.
Yep.
You've got Columbus Day.
Okay.
You really got one every month. Then
Sure.
you got Veterans Day.
Okay.
And then Thanksgiving,
Christmas,
and New Year's.
That's true.
So but that February, if your banker seems
season.
kind of frustrated in like April, it's because there hadn't been a bank holiday in a while.
I love that so much. Oh, the bank holiday. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I will say though, like those Veterans Day holidays, or was it Veterans Day? Yeah, like those can sneak up on people.
That's true.
Because most businesses are not closed on that day. And those are the ones that, like MLK Day always falls on a Monday.
Yeah.
President's Day, but like Veterans Day can fall on a Thursday.
Sure.
And so like if you're accustomed to uploading your payroll file, for direct deposit on that Thursday, and you realize the bank is closed.
Banks are closed.
And we actually did have that happen.
Yeah.
And we're able to make payroll happen for some people. But I mean,
that's good.
Yeah, it's just
our accountant has to, and her name's Kathy. She's amazing. This woman she's getting to the retirement age, and I'm like pleading with her never to leave. But she hounds me when she's like, Cory, there's a holiday. I need the payroll by Monday if you want these deposits to go out Wednesday or something. And I think I do remember that because Veterans Day was on a Thursday. You're right. And she was like, hey, I need these by Tuesday or it's not going to happen for your staff and they're all going to hate you. So
good for Kathy.
She reminded me.
Yes.
I know. But it sounds like even if Kathy wasn't amazing, you are still amazing and you might have still helped me out.
We would have bailed you out. We would have made it happen for you.
I appreciate that. You enable me.
We like to make sure people get paid and that the people who pay the people keep their jobs.
Yes, that's good. We want all that to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's the review. Short and sweet. I do think clearly this was something where he may have even been traveling and there was a bank holiday. It could have all happened at one time. And so he's out of Waco. I'm assuming all this. Quinn is vacationing in Montana and it's a bank holiday. He's in Missoula and he can't, and he's so frustrated. He's like, Central National's closed and it's a bank holiday and all this. So we get it, Quinn. And, so because of this review, Bryan, so we went back, we talked a little bit about the present. Again, this was 4 years ago. So when we talk about future, like if this review, in your opinion, changed thoughts, and I doubt there's a big 1 hour meeting going on about Quinn's review, but do you think any of this stuff was addressed? Like, have there been changes, as there in more locations or more ATMs or a better way of like marketing to the customers when there's holidays coming up? Like, do you think any of that is happening or was this just kind of one of those anomaly reviews and you kind of move on from it?
No, I mean, I think there's truth in his review, and I don't know if I'm teasing a question you're about to ask, but like if I was going to talk to Quinn today, I would say, would love for you to give us another try because I think we've made some real improvements.
Sure. Okay.
Specifically with the ATM fees, the ability to withdraw cash from any ATM.
Yeah.
The after-hours service that's available until 10 o'clock at night, any day, even on bank holidays. So,
Okay.
If he was traveling in, where'd you say, Montana?
He was in Missoula.
Okay,
Missoula, Montana.
If he was in Montana on a bank holiday, the universe just aligned. For this review,
cool.
And I think we could do better.
Okay.
If he came back.
We're watching. My wife and I are watching a Netflix show, and it talks about a college in Missoula. We watched it last. It's called Made. It's actually not too bad.
I've heard people recommend that.
It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
What'll happen is my wife will start a show, and if it's not like something I'm really into, I'll still sit there on the couch, but I'm on my phone or something. This one, I put the phone down. And I was like, I got into it. It's good. It's really good. But they talk about Missoula, so that's why it's top of mind. Okay, so because you cheated and you already gave me if Quinn was right here, you got to give me one more thing. If I'm Quinn,
okay.
So Quinn Phillips, and I have my hat on. That's a hat, Bryan. Whatever that is in his picture. Give me one more thing. Do you try to sweet talk me to come back? Maybe I left the bank. I don't know. Like we can make up a scenario. But what do you say to Quinn? One more thing.
One more thing.
One more thing.
I'm generally like if you can't reach any of our people, I will give my own cell phone number out.
Sure.
Like that's my job.
Yeah.
So there's no time of day where you can't hit me up and ask. Sure. My job is to serve the customer. So
And you did that for me on that Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be enough to lure Quinn back, but
It might. I mean, 77 reviews. He either really cares, like, or he just likes bashing people. But it would be interesting to see, of the 77, are they all 5 or 1 stars or 5 stars, or is he just going after the banking, the bank district? Is he just coming after everybody? Like, I don't know.
I will say, the interesting thing about bank reviews, this is more like in the aggregate. His is kind of different in the sense, but like,
sure,
we're not like a restaurant in the sense that, like, if you show up to order something, if you pay for that, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
We're in the dream making business.
Sure.
And we are unfortunately sometimes in the dream crushing,
that's true,
business. And so, we have to make sure our employees are, that regardless of whether or not we're able to do something for someone because of some regulation or policy or, trying to prevent fraud, whatever it is, that we're able to do that gracefully and with tact and with a way that makes people feel valued and appreciated. And so, anyway, that's just more about if you go on a bank's page and read reviews.
Sure.
There's some of them where I read them like, oh, they may not have gotten approved for a loan.
But, they may have just been a little salty.
But anyway, so
man, I these are all coming to me, and maybe this is another pod, but I have so many good times where CNB has like come through for me, like so many instances where we had a fraud deal, and you guys were so good about helping me through that. We've had some, like, because there's so many businesses, there's like a charge that'll happen for this, and I'll get a text from the fraud department, or sometimes it's even from like Monica, somebody that works for, like, directly saying, "Hey, Cory, this is coming over. Is this, it's just, there's so many good ones. We could have a CNB podcast." But
and the fact that those people's names,
it's true,
is pretty cool.
Yeah,
there's Monica does a great job, and she's the one.
There's really not a lot of turnover. Like, I can think of one person, Lexi. I used to work with her a lot, and then I know she left. But and then was it Mark or Marcus, or he was a teller at
Mark Spence.
Yeah, and I think he moved.
He moved to, I think, Minnesota.
Yeah, he moved to Minnesota. That was another one where I saw him walking with like his kid or something in our neighborhood.
Well, he lived in our neighborhood.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. He was walking. I was like, dude, what? I didn't know you lived over here. Okay, but you mentioned dream. I'm gonna end on this. Okay, Bryan. So you mentioned dream making. You're in the dream making business. I know of a dream that you have that you would like to see happen. And maybe someone listening to this. So it's the bank district turkey trot, right? Isn't it? Is it the 5K or 10K? Or,
well, it would be both.
It's both.
Yeah.
There's got to be people on here that are listening. I think Jim Holmes is he our councilman in that district?
There's actually the district is split. So there's 2 councilmen. The other is Josh. Is it Border?
Oh, Josh. Boudreau? No, I can never say his last name. I know who you're talking about.
Can we edit back in me saying his last name correctly?
Okay, let's.
It's Councilman Josh.
Councilman Josh.
I know him so well that we're just on a first name basis.
And that's all we need to do. It's Councilman Josh. It's fine.
Yeah.
So both of them together then.
Yeah, but really, I think if somebody came to me with like a presenting sponsorship of like $20,000, we could make it happen.
We can make it happen and put the,
because that would pay for me not to have to do any actual work on
true.
Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
But think about it, like, how awesome would it be?
Sure.
The turkey trot, and I think the Altruza Club has historically done the turkey trot.
Okay.
And it's always really well done. It's at Cameron Park.
Yeah.
Part of what I think would be really cool is, normally you're running it from Brazos Park East and you're running on the park trail, which is, I don't know, 8 feet wide.
Yeah.
12 feet wide.
Sure.
Can you imagine running down a completely closed down Bosque Boulevard?
Yes.
6 lanes of traffic plus the middle turn lane. I mean, I just think that would be epic.
It'd be incredible.
And,
okay.
So yeah.
I thought more about it. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
So it's the bank district trot, or this is a bank district run.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. Yep. So how many banks are in the bank district, Bryan? Off the top of your head,
I think
do you have any idea?
There's 11 or 12.
11 or 12.
Yeah.
So I think it's as simple as this. All the banks put up $2,000 into the prize pool. Okay. Each bank picks, let's say, 3 runners. They have to be employees.
I like this.
Or 2 or 3. And it's just competition. And the winning bank gets, So if it's 20,000, let's say it's 2,000. Let's see, 24,000 is in the pot. Let's say the winning team gets 4K, something simple.
Okay.
20 goes into paying for the thing,
Right.
or it's a charity deal or something. But I think every bank would be super into that. There'd be some competition going on.
I like Central National's chances.
I think
we've got a guy who runs like a 6:30 pace.
perfect.
Yeah.
You would start seeing banks hiring some some interns.
More than we already do. Hire former Baylor athletes.
There would be a big run on that, I think, before the race. But anyway, Bryan, thanks, man. This is awesome. I love having you on.
Well, I appreciate the invite. I'm a fan of the podcast, and I'm not just saying that. I've listened to just about all the episodes.
Good.
Appreciate you, man.
Well, thanks, man. Anytime. And Quinn, if you're out there, we still love you. So thanks, dude.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.